A little bright. There you go. Looks good. All right. We're going live. And we really don't have a lot tonight. Except the idea that we've got storms up, and they look like they're up like around Topeka,
North of Topeka.
Manhattan area.
Yeah, and north of Emporia, they actually stretch from Salina on up into Iowa, south of Cedar Rapids, which aligns with the cold front that is going to push ultimately in our direction. Um, the severe storms that are involved in this are all along the line. So generally north of Kansas City at this point. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen.
Oh.
We just got mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. Areas affected northeast Kansas, western and northern Missouri, far southern Iowa. Severe thunderstorm watch possible. Uh, Severe thunderstorm watch continues. The threat for the watch continues. So they are currently under a watch. Their threat will continue several more hours. And the front will move eastward and should impact eastern part of the watch warn area. So
what's the timing of this?
we're still looking at midnight to start coming into our northern counties, northwestern counties.
I think kind of in and around Greene County, the Weather Service had posted a graphic earlier showing like about 2 to 5 a.m.
Yeah, I had seen that as well. Around 4. There's a graphic from the Weather Service in Kansas City that's real good about showing it. And really later than midnight. The line doesn't really congeal and get itself going until about 1. So at least on their model data. Storm Prediction Center dropped the slight risk a bit south and east of where it had been in the latest update that came out just a few minutes ago. It still looks like a giant fish on the map.
Are you able to do a screen share? We can take a look at it.
I potentially can. Let me move that so I can. Oh, there we go.
What are you doing, Steve?
Taking your picture.
My picture.
I gotta show off a little bit of what I did.
Okay.
Can you see the page?
Yeah. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. So this is what was just issued. We still remain slight risk, and the risk is mainly for high wind. They are talking about some hail with this, very limited tornado risk, and they said mainly north of I-44 on that. And that shows as a probabilistic tornado. Uh, Damaging wind pretty much lines up with the entire slight risk, and the hail kind of stays to the north of 44, although there is a marginal risk that includes the rest of our area here. So let me see what our local guys are doing real quick. Mountain Grove is now having some street flooding.
Yeah, I just saw that in the chat. Looks like 1.26 inches of rain today is what they're reporting.
And all that's been recent, within the last couple of hours. So, yeah, we're so saturated. Any bit of rain just absolutely goes to the streets or creeks.
Where's the lowest area that's going to run to?
Oh. Anybody else hearing that?
Yeah.
Hang on.
This is when we say this is a case of technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Have you ever experienced technical difficulties? If so, then looking at a calming shot of a nice warm sunset will increase your calm to the point where you can diagnose those technical difficulties and get them taken care of ASAP.
I have my sound effects up. Oh boy.
Hello.
See, you need to be prepared. I can strike at any moment.
Like lightning.
How's that?
There you go.
Yes.
All
Hey,
strung
I-
out, let me tell you.
I think that needs to be an official FEMA approved graphic.
FEMA?
FEMA approved.
Yes.
Hello.
Oops. The nation is experiencing technical difficulties.
And
You're
the
gonna
world.
get kicked off of YouTube if you don't careful.
I'm just saying.
It's that cat.
Have to keep our rhetoric in check. That's all I'm saying.
Is it
This is-
better?
This is true.
It is true, but I'm speaking from the voice of satire, so therefore it is permissible.
Does it sound
Yeah, they've
better?
been kicking satire off too.
Does it
I
sound
mean, at this point,
better?
we should put a disclaimer that the statements made by Franklin are not necessarily the statements of the Jungle Chasers.
Jungle Chasers.
Hello.
Not representative of the Jungle Chasers.
Hello.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Obviously, you guys can't hear me now.
So, so we're not standing here just staring at each other. Of course, we're still working with our technical
Hello.
difficulties here, but as far as the weather is concerned, are we
Hello.
starting to see an uptick? I mean, in our particular area, as far, I mean, obviously we're seeing some storms, but it's been mostly rain that I've been seeing it. I mean, we do get our occasional pop-ups here and there, but are you seeing a gradual trend?
I'm seeing a clearing trend for us, and that was what they were calling for. Is that once this starts moving out of our area, which it currently is, this is what remains in our area, There is a flash flood warning in effect for this green outline portion. There are no warnings or watches for us at this time. And that was what was predicted. They're still watching for this cold front to march in our direction, and as it does, this line of storms that we're looking at here, if I'm still screen sharing,
You are.
this line of storms is supposed to congeal and then push to the southeast. So that is our forecast.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, because they look like they're technically moving more to the northeast now. It doesn't I mean, unless they start building like in the Wichita area.
And they're supposed to. This
Okay.
is all supposed to start developing on back and push forward. And if you see right here, you do have storms that are starting to pop up on the tail end of this, and it will continue. You'll see that progress as the night goes on.
And then probably also as that front does come down, that will probably push at least a little bit of this stuff that's kind of more going northeast right now. That'll probably push a little bit of that down south, and that may end up more in central and kind of like southeastern Missouri, possibly.
Potentially.
Yeah.
The timing is something that they're a little hesitant on. Some of the early models showed this coming in at midnight and being out by 2, just roaring through. And so there's model disagreement. Others show it taking till 7 or 8, even up to 10 o'clock for this to clear our southeastern counties. So
Can you guys hear me?
kind of looking through here to see what we've got. We've got thunderstorm wind damage that has occurred up to the south and west of Davenport with this already. And hail to the size of golf balls in Morris County, Kansas.
Nice.
Can you guys hear me?
I don't know. I'm not too excited about golf ball size hail. I'm just saying.
We had
Well-
some that size, and they said they were talking about ping pongs down in Galloway today. That's a little close to my house.
Yeah, not too far.
It's kind of in here threatening the storms to stay south. And it did pass by to the east, and the worst I saw out of that was quarter to a little bigger than quarter, $half size. It's still enough to dent cars.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
And I'm just kind of looking kind of over in the Kansas area on radar scope, and I'm seeing some spotter network reports of wall cloud, funnel cloud, and one of a tornado. Let me pull that back up here real quick. Because even though the chances of tornadoes are very, very low, oftentimes they can't 100% rule them out. It's still a possibility.
Well, you're looking at basically a line of supercells here.
Yeah.
It's not a line of storms. So anytime you have supercells, you have the potential for tornadic development just because of the storm motion.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like here this was reported at 8:22, so that would be about 13 minutes ago. They were located 7 miles east-southeast of Voland, Kansas, and the spotter network person reported a rope tornado 4 miles west of Route 99 and I'm assuming Route 4. It just says Route 99 and 4, and they put down 820, so they saw that about 2 minutes before they reported it.
Okay, I switched and now... Rodney, what did you do without killing the program and coming back into it to...
What I did is I turned radial data off and then back on, and it refreshes. And then it yeah, see, you're getting a live sweep right now, so.
Am I? Because it's not showing on my end.
Well, no, it's saying awaiting next scan, so it's waiting for the next.
Oh, okay.
Are you pulling KTWX? Are you pulling from?
I just switched to KTWX and I switched to velocities. Let me go back to reflectivity because I had reflectivity. Oh, we're just gonna.
Okay. Yeah.
When all else fails.
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
It's Windows. Hey.
I heard you, Steve.
You did?
I did.
Good grief. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it switched everything. All my inputs did not hold.
Well, see, that's kind of, in a way, kind of weirdly what was happening to me, I guess, the other night when we were doing the debriefing on Jitsi. It's like it would keep my settings for a minute or so, and then it like recognize the mixer as a newly connected device, and it would just switch my inputs, and it'd say, "Do you want to use this?" And I'd click it, and nothing happened. It'd just pop up, "Oh, new device found," and I'm like, "No, you just told me that like the last 5 times."
I got too many things going, and I tested that new mixer that you got me.
Yeah.
But I haven't put it in effect, and it will work with this microphone.
Yeah.
I just need to get it on there so that I can mix the radio and the microphone in one input, and then it doesn't have any choices.
Gotcha.
Franklin, where was that report from?
Let me go back here real quick. That was 7 miles southeast of Voland, Volland, Kansas.
I don't know where that is.
It was south of Alma, I believe. Let me kind of zoom back out here real quick. And kind of go down. Yeah, it's just a little bit south and east, actually, of the Topeka radar site. It's almost right, slightly off of a line straight south of Alma.
I mean, I see a little velocity there, but it's not a very strong couplet.
Yeah, the only thing that I see that's kind of odd about that, and if you want me to share my screen here real quick, I definitely can do that. It does look like there's a little bit of a curve. Let me pull this up. Okay,
wait a minute. Are you talking about north of Dunlap?
I'm not seeing Dunlap right now, but I'm pretty zoomed in. It might possibly be. I should be sharing my screen here in just a moment.
You are.
You totally are, and I can see it.
So, right
sure.
Here is kind of what I was talking about. It kind of, well, now it just updated. Here, let me go back to the last frame. But see that kind of a little bit of how that green kind of curves a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of curious.
Rotation, though. That's what throws me off.
No, it's not. And then if you go to that next frame that just updated, here, if my computer will cooperate. I'm getting the little spinning beach ball. Okay. And see, that goes away, but in its general place, there's a little faint little bit of red right there next to the to the right of the spinning beach ball.
I don't see your beach ball, but that.
Oh, okay.
Well, you got 2 spotters in that area. They really don't need to be there if that's a tornado.
Yeah, probably not.
Wow.
Did somebody wow?
Yeah, I just sneezed, man. Forgot who I was.
Yeah. And see, here is up here is hold on. Is up here where they I guess they saw the tornado. And like I said, they said it was just a rope tornado, so probably not very, very wide. And who knows, it may have just briefly touched the ground.
It's reported here as a funnel cloud.
Oh, okay. Well, see, and I've got some reports a little bit further south of that of some funnel and wall clouds.
Almost kind of seems like a case of he said,
Not for sure.
Who said?
He said, he
Well,
said.
let me share again. Let me share again and show you. Oh,
Whoop.
I don't. Whoops. Let's try this again. Do the right screen. So right here is where they're saying they saw the funnel, and I stopped the scan.
Okay, yeah, and that's south of where I was looking at. Actually, where I was looking at was quite a ways more north of that.
So where it says Bushong,
Yeah.
Right.
that look like a notch right there, or am I just?
Possibly.
Possible.
It's probably.
I didn't
right
see
past it.
anything of concern in velocities, and I did base velocity as well as storm relative. Here's storm relative, and I scanned it, and I didn't see.
Well, see,
You know,
they
that
didn't
looks
even
like
put
a.
a tornado tag on that. You know.
Yeah, there isn't.
Was there even a tornado watch issued, or was it just severe
It's
thunder?
a severe thunderstorm watch. Which, anytime you have severe thunderstorms, this is your base velocities. Anytime you have severe thunderstorms that are supercellular in nature, you've got rotation. You can have tornadoes. That's fact.
Oh yeah.
But you know, if there was something, I wonder. 'Cause I didn't see anything on velocities that got my attention. I would be doing like Mr. Runnels was doing the other day. So what tells you that this is a funnel?
Oh, yeah.
What tells you this is a tornado?
Yeah, definitely. If you're not seeing anything on velocities that's really standing out, I completely agree. I would be like, okay, tell me what it is you're seeing that makes you think it's a funnel.
Exactly. Now, check out this one.
Yeah. So you see the appendage that's moving in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That looks more true to form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there. I would not be surprised if there'd be a slight spin up there, but we're not seeing a tornadic vortex signature, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, over there's where it's at.
Or, I mean, it may not be picking it up as far as the software is concerned, but
Right. But yeah, shows it better than the storm relative. But that would not surprise me. The other one, I'd be asking questions, I think.
So Steve,
Mhm.
based on the picture you sent, are we simulcasting through Facebook and YouTube?
No, not right now. What you're seeing is our trip to Independence, Kansas got that a second desktop, and I'll pull it up here and tell you what it is.
Lenovo ThinkPad. I don't remember the model. It's got 550 gigs of drive space, and was it 6
It's
or
a-
12?
It's a
Gigs of
ThinkCenter
RAM.
M92P Intel Core i5 3470 CPU. It's running an Intel Ivy Bridge desktop graphics. Currently on GNOME 3.28.2. Now it also has Windows 10 in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that I gotta all learn OBS all over again on Windows. If I'm going to use it.
Workshop sometime, you know.
Say again.
Maybe we can have a workshop sometime, you know.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome, because I got a whole bunch of stuff figured out on the Linux side for OBS, and feel pretty confident about it, except for some audio difficulties right now. But that's been new. That's not, and partially that's because I'm using a Easy capture device for the sound on the board, which gives me about 25 different volume controls, and it's sort of like herding cats when it comes to putting on a live feed and have everything sound good.
Cool.
I should know that I need to go through all the settings and make sure they're all there first, because here's the other problem. If I do anything with, say, like Cubic SDR or some other SDR radio, that changes everything. It changes the audio devices, and it's just crazy. So, but the ideal here is I use one computer for doing extensive graphics and the other one to stream with.
Well, that's what you wanted, right? You were talking about using NDI inputs to...
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that should help a lot with the bandwidth and stuff, too. Maybe kind of, I don't know, balance it somewhat?
Well, I don't know if you've noticed that our pictures look a lot better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They look clearer.
I went through an extensive rework of the network cable in the garage specifically, somewhat in the house. The run that goes between the house and the garage was a decade old.
Oh. You were getting a lot of interference then, probably.
Well, and honestly, I don't think I had the cabling all correct. I think I may have had lines reversed. It was enough to work, but it slowed stuff down.
You might have been running simplex instead of duplex?
Or at least slowing things down. I mean, but I just started doing a speed test on computers and noticed that I was way down compared to in the house, and just started fixing connectors until I fixed it. Part of it, Franklin got the cable, a cable that I removed, and the reason why that was removed was because it needed to have a new end on it, and I couldn't get about an 8-inch piece out from my bench. So I cut it and put new ends on it and gave it to Franklin.
There you go.
And that may very well get used whenever I get things moved around in here to go from the router to the back of the computer.
Yeah, I still believe that would help on your throughput, but you don't look...
Oh, I'm sure it would.
You've definitely cleared up since we first started the.
Oh yeah. It's not been just a dramatic change, but just getting that 5 gigahertz channel going on that Apple Airport Extreme router and switching over to that. I noticed things load a little bit quicker. My radar information loads a little bit quicker. The pictures for the watches and warnings postings for Skywarn, they load a little bit quicker.
So, just FYI, I'm watching this cell up by White City.
Mm-hmm.
It continues to have a pretty solid hook on it. Nice hail core. I'm gonna say it's headed now for White City and Parkerville. Well, the hook went away. That could have been a brief spin up on that. It does have a good hail core in it. It looks like White City's going to be affected by it. Just FYI.
Gotcha.
We have another hail core with even larger hail in it. And that is right near the radar site. So
Just south of it.
Just south of it. It's out in open country. It doesn't even tag a city.
Yeah. And see, just a little bit south and west of that is where I had that spotter network report of the tornado earlier.
Right. Right. This is probably that same cell.
Yeah.
It's showing 1 3/4 inch hail.
Mm.
I'm going to be honest, those Seacart guys need to get a Facebook channel.
More email?
Oh my God, it's like, it's constant. So, guys, Southeast Kansas Amateur Radio Club, and they've got a group. It's email group. And they get on there and chat like on there like we do on Facebook with emails.
Mm-hmm.
Email? Oh my goodness.
It's great. These guys are into everything. They help each other with everything. They send pictures of what they're currently up to, what they're doing. They're very well networked. And all they have is a YouTube feed, a YouTube group that feeds the email.
Not YouTube, Google groups. And it's not even
It is a
Groups.io,
Google
it's
group.
just Google groups.
Oh, did we miss a warning here?
I posted one a little bit ago. I wasn't for sure
We
whether
aren't
you called it
reading
on the
them, no.
repeat or.
I didn't. I'm gonna catch this one.
Okay, and I'll get it posted on the pages.
Stations monitoring. This is KD08EL with Southwest Missouri Regional Skywarn. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 9:45 p.m. for southeastern Texas County. At 8:53 p.m., severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles northeast of Kabul, or 9 miles south of Houston, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail can be expected from this storm. Locations impacted include Summersville, Hartshorn, Simmons, Eunice, Yukon, Solo, and Elk Creek. This is KD08EL with Southwest Missouri Regional Skywarn.
I think that background that Patty has is pretty stylish.
It is.
That is nice.
Well, thank you very much.
And what was interesting on my drive home today, there was a little bit of a shelf that was coming into Springfield, and of course a lot of scud clouds too. If someone was looking at it, I mean, in first instance you look at it and go, "Oh, what's that?" And then of course there's no rotation, but your first instinct is, "Oh, I mean, it got your attention. I mean, you looked at it, but you know, uh, it obviously was scary looking clouds, but
Yeah, I got actually spotters shared with me, and I don't think this person is always out there looking, but I don't know that I've ever gotten a um, severe report from them. Have to give them credit for trying here. What we got? Very nice core. Yes, we've got a very nice core. Uh, I will share my screen here in just a minute. I was looking for what they shared with me, and my response was, I'm going to save the photo, or can I do this without sharing names? Okay, Skype, let me back in. And my response was, scary looking clouds out there today.
yeah.
And they were. That was long after anything severe was in the area. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
That was our whole day yesterday.
Yeah, that looks like our whole day yesterday.
We had maybe a 500-foot cloud deck all day, and all the way to Independence it rained.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the guy at KOAM, the meteorologist? Doug.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick on him.
Yes, we are. We're going to pick on him because I was standing up for him because he said it was going to be some sun.
Intermittent storms with sun coming out and severe storms firing. And from the time we left the house until we got to Independence and back, it was a solid wash of storms that covered half the state of Kansas. There was nothing intermittent about it.
But he redeemed himself at the end of the day because we had a clearing.
One tiny little spot of sunshine that quickly went away. But yes, he did get a little sunshine in there.
Yeah, I was holding up for him. I said, just 1 square inch of sunshine. That's all we need.
So, am I still sharing?
Yep.
Yes.
This is what I just read the warning on over in our Texas county south of Houston. This storm, for those who are local and might be interested in what's going on, is also going out into open country. I do not see any impacts city-wise, town-wise. It is, I can't read, Highway 17 will soon be impacted by the hail core. It looks to cross between Summersville and Houston, but we do have a hail core between Mountain View and Summersville, so not warned, but it potentially could go severe.
You know, there's places out there. You know the names, dear. Boss, Bunker.
I was thinking Boss, Bunker. I'm not seeing them on here.
Doe Run Lead Mine, Buick Lead Mine.
In Texas County?
Well, I think it's just out of
That's
Texas
closer
County,
to
but I'm not
Salem.
sure. But other than that, there's pretty much just trees.
Yeah, I think where this is at is pretty much trees.
There is a highway there. What is that highway?
That's 17 and 137.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that area. My dad and my grandfather would be, and my grandmother, because my grandmother's actually was from Licking, and they spent quite a bit of time. They lived up around there and around Fort Leonard Wood whenever my dad and my aunts were little.
Evening Shade and Roby. That's another, and that's a lot further north than this, but those are all
Mhm.
places.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Raymondville. There's just not much there. It's a long way between towns out there.
It's
Yeah,
a long way
and,
between anything out there.
Well, and also I know kind of between the fort and Licking, and I think up towards Edgar Springs, they lived around there too. A lot of that land kind of between there and Fort Leonard Wood, I think actually does belong to the fort, because I know Dad used to talk about that him and my grandpa used to go hunting up around, that general area, and a lot of the places that they like to hunt was just kind of right along where kind of butted up against the fort.
Right. Bunker is much further north. Just about almost out of our area.
It's all pretty much national forest.
Yeah, it is. Out through here.
Now, would that be part of the Mark Twain National Forest
Yes.
or a different one?
Yeah.
Yes, it's part of Mark Twain. Mark Twain covers a good portion of south central Missouri
Yes.
on up to the north even.
And it's kind of, if I remember looking at a general map of the state, in some places it's kind of in pockets because part of the forest, either I guess through human intervention or through natural processes, parts of it in some areas has kind of went down, so it kind of creates kind of like a little pocket of it, and then it kind of stops for a little bit, and then it kind of picks up over here somewhere.
Right. You've got
Yeah.
property that's owned by people there, and it's kind of interesting to drive through.
Mhm.
You'll be driving through the forest, and then all of a sudden there's this whole line of purple ribbons tied on trees.
Mhm.
That's private land. And when you get on a little further east of here, Eminence is in the National Scenic Riverways.
Mhm.
So that's a whole other region
Completely
of forest
different area.
land and a completely different area governed by a different body. So,
Yeah, it's
a lot of
just
wilderness.
kind of something that I couldn't wrap my head around for a while. Whenever I was a little kid, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's Mark Twain National Forest, and then, well, over here, this is Mark Twain National Forest too, and I'm like, what about this in between? Where's the forest in between? So it's not like what I think a lot of people would think of, where it's one large kind of continuous forest. It kind of sort of is in pockets.
It is. It is. Because you've even got over in here some Mark Twain.
Mhm.
Yeah, Boss is a lot
Yeah.
further east. That's actually a separate section of the
East and
Mark Twain National
north.
Forest.
Gotcha.
What highway is that off of? I can't remember.
32.
That's north.
Yeah, it's east of Salem.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
Pretty much. You remember when we went to the lead mine, the St. Joe Lead Mine Museum, and they talked
Right.
about the Viburnum Rift?
yeah.
That's Boss, Viburnum, West Fork Bunker, all up and
It
down
was
in there.
north of Bunker. Yeah, it was
All the
north
lead
of
mines.
Bunker.
Oh, okay, yeah, actually, I'm seeing Viburnum on my map now.
Huzzah. Is that huzzah? I don't even know how you want to say that.
As I think.
Davisville, they got a creek named
Huzza
that.
Valley.
What is it?
Huzza Valley.
Huzza Valley.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're talking about off of 32.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah, there's actually like a small, I don't know if you will, it's like a camping area. They've got not necessarily like, well, I don't know, maybe they do have a dock not too far there, but
Mhm.
I always kind of noticed that they had that driving by. They called it Huzzah Valley or Huzzah Valley, something like that.
Huzzah!
So,
I'm going up on the reflectivity scans. See,
and
I'm
then
up to 2.4. It's up there.
you go further east, and then there's Patty's favorite town, Desloge.
Deloge.
That's the load.
Deloge. Near Des Peres, but it's
Des Peres.
Des Peres.
That's where my wife grew up, so I knew quite a bit about that. You know, they live. She's still got her family up in that area, so.
in between Bonne Terre and around the St. Joe lead mine.
They're in Farmington. area.
Farmington, okay.
Oh, okay.
So Des Peres, wasn't that the population epicenter for the U.S. for a long time? Wasn't that the one?
No,
Yeah,
Plato.
no, Plato is now. I'm talking about for a long time. But it's always been up in that area. So
Now we need to go out there. We've got a list of things to go see. Pilot Knob, Johnson's Shut-ins, Elephant Rocks, all that stuff we've not been to yet. This is why people come to Missouri and we've not even been there.
Have you guys ever been to Elephant Rock State
we have
Park?
tornadoes
Ooh, where at?
right back where we were.
Ah, back in Kansas.
Yep.
If you
It goes to show we jump off a tangent and look what happens.
Ooh, yeah, 2 warnings.
So if you go to Elephant Rocks, you got to do Johnson Shut-ins, Tom Sock Mountain, Pilot Knob, and what else? Well, the Arcadia Valley. I mean, that's just something to see in Missouri. That's a great place. But we didn't go
Okay,
last time because we knew it would be 2 days to look at it all.
Lost my radar site. What is the letters for it?
TWX for Topeka.
Are we tornadic in Topeka?
We are.
Oh.
They're near, it's right in that area of earlier funnel cloud reports, but I have found one funnel cloud report northwest of Bushnog, if I'm pronouncing that.
KTW it? Is that right?
Tango Whiskey.
K-Top.
Okay.
Looks like at 8:57, 2 miles northwest of Bushnog, came halfway down, still strong rotation. So apparently it did not go all the way down to the ground, so they are appropriately referring to it as a funnel cloud, not a tornado.
And the one I got here is 8:59.
Okay.
Let's see. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Council Grove, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. They're saying that the storm will be near Council Grove around 9:10. They don't have any other locations impacted.
Okay.
I don't see any others impacted.
I don't think Topeka goes all out on that kind of thing, do they?
Yeah. And then the other tornado
Harveyville
warning,
the other one.
which was issued at 8:56, is just for South Central Waubonsee County, Waubonsee, and then northwestern Lyon County. Looks like 8:55, severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornado 4 miles north of Bushnog, moving northeast at 25. ping pong size hail. Radar indicated location. Gosh. Radar indicated rotation. Boy.
There's also several thunderstorm warnings up in northwest Missouri. Worth County, Gentry County, and Nottoway County.
Yeah.
Again, we're looking at, and I hope I'm screen sharing. We're looking at a.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not. You didn't click something. Whoops.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
So where we were talking about is this area here.
Ooh.
And where Steve was talking about, we still have
That's up north.
quite a line of scrolling out here slowly.
It's up there
I
in
think my
Mormon
mouse is
territory.
dying. Yeah, Fort Madison. Well, no, that's Iowa
Don't go that far.
up here.
It was Pleasant
here.
Hill that issued it, so
Maryville
KEAX.
area. Yeah, these are going to cross the line here before too long. If you notice, the cold, just since we've been talking, the cold front has made quite an advance.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're still not looking at a congealing of that line. So it's still individual supercells.
Hey guys, just a second. I need to take a phone call. I'll be right with you.
Okay.
So we got a comment from Reaction Riot. This is so cool.
Cool.
Just a bunch of weather geeks.
Weather geeks, and we just talk about life sometimes.
Sometimes I'm. That's pretty defined. Still beat it on Harveyville.
Mm-hmm.
What I had gone back here to look at was what other warnings did we have in place. There's quite a list.
Mm-hmm.
Flash
Yeah, it
flood.
looks like there's several other, or at least now it maybe looks like they've all maybe combined them into one. There was several individual severe thunderstorm warnings around those two tornado warnings. Now it looks like just one continuous polygon.
I'd pull up velocity on that for a bit. Boy, I tell you what, that kind of looks pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take a look.
Eskridge, just a little bit northwest of Harveyville. That kind of looks like it's got strong winds on either side. I don't know if they're really coming together in a couplet or not. It might be broad rotation, maybe.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no problem.
Let's switch to storm relative. I'm not feeling it here.
Gotcha.
It's up here.
Well, and sometimes I'm still kind of a little hit or miss with the velocities. I've gotten better at them, but sometimes I'm just still a little uncertain. Now, if you go a little bit, let's see where those polygons are, a little bit north of there and maybe a little bit slightly east, Okay, right there where it says like Eskridge, that's kind of about the area that I've been looking at. I'm not for certain.
There is some rotation up there.
Okay.
Yeah, look at. I'm sharing the.
I see it now. That would you call that more broad rotation?
Yeah, I
or-
would.
Okay.
That's more what I think they would call it. Storm. Yeah, storm level. It's picking up on the whole system.
Gotcha. Because like
I'm not seeing what they're seeing here.
I do.
in that area.
In this area?
Just to the east of Eskridge. You had it on there a minute ago.
Here? Yes.
Yeah, but I think she's talking about down
Oh,
I'm
the
talking
okay.
about
polygon.
I got
southern.
you.
I'm talking about the southern polygon.
Maybe it's a remnant of something that moved out because I don't see it either.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Maybe just right there northwest of Dunlap. Maybe I've got a little bit of some red and green kind of close together on the relative mean velocity, but I mean, it doesn't look like anything substantial.
Right.
Right in here.
Yeah, maybe. Like I
Yeah.
said, just kind of a little bit west and north of
Yeah, right in
Dunlap.
there. Right in there.
Or south.
Almost due north. Almost due
Yeah.
north. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning to play with my new toys. So
Eh,
they did just drop one of the warnings.
Did they?
The one we were questioning.
Gotcha. That
So
may possibly be
maybe
why.
maybe we're better than we think we are.
no, I
I
think
have
we're
to
pretty
say,
good.
but where
at
it's got that tornadic vortex signature, I mean, you can definitely see, you know, that right in there.
in velocity too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
it just refreshed.
It did, and I'm thinking that they're gonna drop that one too. It's not as intense.
No, it isn't. Going through my different velocities here, and yeah, it's not what it was. It's losing its oomph.
Hmm.
But there's definitely
Uh,
a
You know,
hook there.
that one might be a tail end Charlie that's kind of pulling in there. I've got College of DuPage up, and it refreshes quickly. And there's a spot that looks like it's rotating that's moving up south of these where they were. It may be a
So-
tail end Charlie game going there.
These cells are merging here.
Yeah.
This whole thing is starting to congeal. So if you look at the loop, what had been warned here is getting sucked up into these.
Well, it's increasing in
Gotcha.
intensity.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were talking earlier how we anticipate this entire line, and I'm going to back out and show it. This entire line is supposed to congeal and become an MCS. And you can see it starting to happen. Things are starting to line up better. Down here, it's less of individual cells and becoming more of a long system. So I think it's starting to
Is it going to stay up
starting to
around
manifest itself.
70 though?
As this cold front pushes down, it's going to bring it down to us.
Is it okay? Well, that's a heck of a deal.
Well, if you look close just north of Wichita, there's a little bit of a development there. I can see that starting to fire up. And, since it's right there off of the
Right.
station, or it's not a stationary front, it's definitely a front. But,
Yeah, remember when we first started looking at this, I said this is starting to develop some things back to the southwest, and it is. It's starting to get its act together along that front. So,
Certainly.
and our temperature here is still 70. I'm seeing, or 75, 70. We got 73 in Pittsburgh, 73 in Joplin, 72 in Monette. A lot of warmth hanging on. Temperatures behind this are still pretty warm, though. 72 Salina, 72 Manhattan, 72 St. Joe, where it's moving in.
what's the dew points, though?
Well, let's see.
This is down Panhandle of
our
Texas
current
and
dew
Oklahoma
point-
area as well.
Our current dew point is 64, 66 in Pittsburgh. We got 66 in Burlington, Kansas, 68 in Emporia, 64 in Topeka.
So we
it's
don't
right-
have that juicy of an atmosphere, if you think about it.
Well, it's still within 6 degrees. When you have a dew point of 64 and a temperature of 70, it's pretty souped. I did not look at the SKU-T earlier. I've been busy with some other things. This is definitely. Let me pull up the national radar. I hadn't been running it.
We don't have a
To
lot
get
of
it clear.
instability going on the 1800 Zulu sounding 716 on most unstable Cape. Convective inhibition minus 194. Got a lot of lift going. LCL 516. And the lift index minus 3. Possible hazards, none. Not a
Well,
lot of
I
skew on
can
the
see that
storm
at
slinky either.
At 6 p.m., I can see that. It's going to change. Pardon me, I'm scrolling. I'm checking this out. We've had storm damage. Washington County, Iowa. Keokuk County, Iowa. From the storms that rolled through there. Let's come back and take a look at our Texas County cell, because that is our primary concern.
I think
Yeah,
it's falling
it's
apart.
pretty much. Yeah.
Or falling
That's
off the
about what's
radar.
Well, I'm not on that radar. I need to go back to it.
Would
so.
St. Louis be more better? Mo better?
More better.
That
That
would be
is-
Paducah, I think, or it's kind of on the edge.
Is more better proper English?
It is in this house.
Mo better?
Ah,
and it's not more better, it's mo better.
Mo better.
ah.
Yeah, that thing's falling off the radar. It's out in there where there is no radar, so no severe weather can form, right?
Pretty much.
We don't
I
have a
gotta
radar
grab some
site there,
coffee. I
so
shall be right back.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, let me. Do I have my county? Oh, I guess I forgot to bring up my counties. I have a little county cheat sheet. That's either right at or very close to the edge of the watch area.
Ooh, new warning. Flash flood. New Orleans.
Nolans?
Nolans. Yeah. And that was right after Chicago, Romeoville.
Yeah, that's just getting like in the eastern part of Dent, Shannon, and the northeastern corner of Oregon County. So yeah, once those get over those county boundaries, just that area kind of from about Winona back up to just southeast of Houston is all that will be left in our watch area.
So Patty and I discovered something on our little trip, and it
What was
is
that?
big windmills being built north of Jasper. We're talking
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
400 or 500 feet high, and there's got to be 40 or 50 bases already in that they haven't put any, and there's 3 up. These are giant. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, they're huge. And they just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Texas.
So it's done.
Yeah.
See, I told you that you can't have
Yeah.
severe weather where there's no radar.
Here, let me do that one first.
And then, to add to the fun, I'm looking at Vance Air Force Base in Oklahoma, and I know there's development up towards Wichita, but there's also development just coming out of the panhandle of Texas and into northwest Oklahoma. And it's like supercellular development.
Gotcha.
So there could be some activity down that way. Oh, there goes the Nixahams, guys.
And what did I miss? Besides, they dropped the warning.
They dropped the
I
warning.
think that's about it.
I told them about the windmills we saw north of Jasper. And there's development in northwest Oklahoma on the Vance Air Force Base. Looks supercellular.
Oh, and they did issue a flash. Is it flash flood? Yeah, flash flood watch.
For the
Yeah.
Ozarks?
I don't know that so much. Well, actually, I take that back. It's not an issuance; it's a continuance.
Yeah.
Right. They that's for tonight into tomorrow evening.
Gotcha.
It does not like to switch radar sites for whatever reason.
You should share some of those pictures of those wet cornfields you got yesterday.
I got rid of a lot of that, but I've got a
Did you?
few things I can share.
Because it was like
Yeah, this is.
puddling.
Oh, and they got more rain today, so. Am I still sharing?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. This is that's what it looks like, and this is actually
Oh yeah,
near
I
the
saw that.
Kansas-Missouri border.
Okay.
So we came across north of Jasper, Missouri. They're building a wind farm out in the rural Jasper County. They're putting in quite a few of these. Pretty. I hadn't even edited this photo. Or did I go in the wrong folder? Hold on. I may have gone in the wrong folder. Ah. Here we go. Oh, that wasn't yesterday.
Heh.
That's better. You can see that one.
Who is that old
Um,
man?
I have no clue who that old man was. Looks like he might have food, so he might be okay.
never
And the
trust old
corn's
men
coming
with food.
up. The amazing thing is the corn is still coming up in this. It looks like it should be a rice field instead.
Mhm.
Yeah, now you can see these better. I did a little tweaking on this. It was very foggy because it had been raining. You can see the crane where they're going up with another one. Yeah, and even that field was just soup.
That was kind
And
of.
we're guessing that's canola. There were quite a number of
Okay.
those fields, and none of them were on my side of the car, except this one. And it was way back. I didn't have my camera. I was using my phone. Cameras never came out of the bag yesterday. It was just a wash. But that's
Yeah.
amazingly yellow. Yeah, you see a lot of goldenrod this time of year. That was not goldenrod. That was a planted crop, and it was just amazingly yellow. And we had as we came back into town to refuel the car, hey, this little cell popped up down by Galena. It never really made it into anything, but it was kind of cool looking off in the distance. And then I just played with the camera. So, yeah. That's all I really got out of yesterday.
Not a great photographic day, but it was still a pretty awesome little trip.
Oh, I bet. Anytime you get out and you go somewhere, unless it's just an absolutely terrible experience, is a good trip.
And what was
So
that
these are the
guy's call sign
I don't remember.
where we got
His
the
name was
computer?
Kenneth. I'd have to pull up my email to see.
Let me see if I can find it.
I was just kind of wanting to make sure I kind of moved my mic around. You guys can still hear me good. Don't really hear the fan in the background or anything.
No, don't hear it.
Okay, cool. I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
if because it's a little bit more distant from me than it was before. Not very much, by just like maybe a couple inches. I didn't know if I needed to turn my gain or my level up or anything.
Oh, you're good. So,
Okay, cool.
Franklin, if you don't mind, while you're posting, if you could DTMF and go ahead and cancel the
The
repeater for Houston.
Houston. Yeah.
This has moved on into Shannon County, and that they're not going to hear us out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's no
but
problem.
that has been downgraded to a significant weather advisory. Oh.
I'm not for sure if all that came through. I didn't hear it do it, so let me try it again.
More than it needs.
I heard it beep. I'm not sure it connected the first time.
Well,
I-
I heard like it dialing the first time, but that may not indicate that the repeater in Houston actually heard it.
Right.
Oh,
Make sure you mute your mic.
okay. I gotcha. So, do you think I should try it again?
I would.
Okay, I will do that here. Just a second. Okay, I think it did it that time.
I think you're right.
I keep forgetting the speaker on this phone is not on the underneath, like here. It's actually up here next to the light. So I forget that. And I've just kind of found if the speaker's not close to the mic, it doesn't hear it enough, even though I've got it turned up all the way. And looks like we do have a significant weather advisory now for Shannon.
Yeah. So there was actually a public report of a tornado at south of Council Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I'm not getting.
Would it?
Yeah.
Would it? I don't know if it would help, but you know how you got yours set on high graphics? If you switched it to balance, do you think it might level it out?
You mean just background instead of both?
No. See where it says the mode? You got balanced and then graphics. You know, like where you have your map style and it's just low.
Put it on balanced
Yeah. See if maybe that will help with some of your
or
bandwidth.
light mode.
I don't know. I've never played with light mode.
And it takes the whole background out. I'll go back to balanced and see. That's still an interesting little cell. This is actually a new tornado warning to the south of the original one. Look at that up. That is prominent.
Goes to Topeka.
That's storm relative velocities. Here's base velocities.
Huh.
Ooh. I see very bright pink and white just south and east of Ushnog.
I'm looking up by Allen, between Allen and Americus.
Yeah. Oh, that's where Americus is. I see Allen. Okay, there now I see Americus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there's Bushong.
Yeah, it's just
Bushong.
west of
It's called Bushong.
Are you sure?
Bushong.
Yes.
We'll
I
trust
lived
you.
in Kansas for 4 years. It's Bushong.
We were everywhere yesterday. Independence,
have you-
Columbus,
have you
Pittsburgh.
Have you ever been to the Walmart in Americus?
No.
It's probably not the same Walmart, but and I'm thinking this was in Kansas. I don't think it was in Oklahoma. There's a movie, and I can't remember what the name of the movie is. It's got Natalie Portman in it, where she plays a young girl who's pregnant. Her boyfriend leaves her at the Walmart in Americus, and she has a baby girl in the parking lot, I think. and she ends up settling in this little community, and she named her daughter Americus, and she starts working at the Walmart. She starts taking pictures and becomes a photographer and all this stuff, and it's just a cute little, story about how this girl who took this tragic event that happened in her life and really turned her life around, and the community kind of helped her.
It's a good thing she
That's
didn't land in Chanute.
I'm assuming the people at their Walmart are not quite as nice.
I tell you what, they were certainly not bad at the Dillon store in Pittsburgh, man.
Oh, you went to a Dillon's?
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
we
it
did
was
our
awesome.
weekly shopping.
I
We were like,
miss Dillon's.
we did too. And the one thing we went in there for, we forgot to get.
What was that?
Because that was coffee.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the one thing we went in there for, and we were so enthralled with the 10 for 10 deals that we forgot that they had, and the fresh produce, and yeah, we were all over the store, and got about halfway home and went, there's no coffee at the house waiting for us because our grinder quit.
So we made an emergency pit stop at the Casey's on West Chestnut.
Not related to the coffee. But
No.
then we stopped at Harder House and got coffee.
No, that was to prevent a San Francisco incident.
And my 16-year-old Buick got 30 miles to the gallon yesterday.
Well, you can do that whenever you're not stopping, going, stopping, going, stopping, going.
And we have to shout out a little bit for MJ Burgers and what was the town?
Altamont.
Altamont, Kansas. If you're in the area, they've got awesome food.
They really do. Great service, friendly people, and the people coming in, social distance without question. It was a great atmosphere. Kind of a quaint little place. Been there a long time, evidently. And he got a burger, and I got a grilled chicken, and the food was great. It was juicy, flavorful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Clean.
That reminded me, me and Mom
Clean.
finally got to try a place on West Sunshine.
Oh, did you, Reds?
Yes, Reds, yes.
Whenever they drop all this stuff that I can go get an elderly member of our ham community, I owe him a trip out there.
It will be well worth it.
Yeah, W0ERE. I promised him that we were going to take him. And then winter happened, and then I got sick,
Gotcha.
and then they shut us down, and I just don't even want to risk taking him out right now. So
I can understand that. We ended up, we ate in the car in the parking lot. We watched traffic go back and forth on Sunshine, watched a groundhog for a little bit over the fence at the Federal Medical Center. We both got a burger, and Mom got regular fries, and I got their sweet potato fries, and we've traditionally not been enamored with most places' sweet potato fries, but we both really liked them. Then we were little piggies, and we went back, and Mom wanted to try a bowl of chili and a cup of chocolate ice cream, which her chocolate ice cream was pretty good. And I was just like, I need to try a pork tenderloin sandwich. Their pork tenderloin sandwiches are amazing. It's all white pork meat. It's got a nice light breading on it, and they are huge.
Patty, did you eat at the original Reds ever?
no, I did not, unfortunately. And you were with me when I ate at Taylor's the first time.
I wasn't
as
terribly
long as I
impressed
lived
with
in-
Taylor's.
Oh,
We'll
no,
just-
Taylor's is
we'll-
still in business.
We'll leave that one aside, but no, I never did, and I kept hearing how great it was, and just never made it over there. And I was glad to see it come back so I could try it.
See, I just don't remember hearing about Reds, even though they were still open when I was a little kid. I just don't remember hearing about it until after it closed.
My big thing here was A&W
Mhm.
and Steak and Shake
Yeah.
for a long time. Fisher's.
I've heard of
we had
Fisher's.
Highboy, and it sat at the corner of Glenstone and Sunshine,
Gotcha.
and was a drive-in. When you drove in, it was kind of a crescent-shaped parking area going into the building.
Okay.
That was sad when that closed.
Yeah, see, I just barely kind of remember a little bit of AMW whenever it was here, and then they went away, and then for a few years in the, I guess it was like the mid or kind of mid-late 90s, we had one on Glenstone between the interstate and Kearney for, I think it was only here, maybe a couple, 2 or 3 years, and then it went out of business.
They had them in the Kentucky Fried for a bit, and
Yeah.
I stopped in there one time to get the root beer, and it was the tail end of the syrup. So what I
Oh.
brought home wasn't even root beer.
Wasn't very good.
Nah, it wasn't very good. But there is one, and I think it's Osceola.
Mhm.
It's Osceola or Lowry City on 13. Might be Lowry City. And it is every bit as good as A&W ever was. There's also one in Iola, Kansas.
Mhm.
If you're ever over that way, I think it's on Highway 54 in Iola. It's a sit-down A&W. Well,
Uh-huh.
so is the one at Lowry City. Very, very good. We had QT here when I was a kid, and we used to get hamburgers either 10 or 12 for $1.
Now, see, the place that we used to have here on Kearney that we absolutely loved that was like that was a place called Sip and Flip.
I remember them.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty good. We would used to, like, every couple of weeks or so, we would go and get like a bag of like 12 or 15 other little hamburgers. Because I can't really recall that they were as small as sliders, but they weren't like a regular full-size hamburger. They were like maybe something kind of halfway in between, but they were good.
So are we going to have to endorse all these restaurants we talked about tonight?
I think we
Well,
did.
the part of it is half of them are no longer in business, so we don't really have to endorse them.
I think we did. I mean, at least gave reviews.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone way over time. I don't know if you wanted to keep us going or not, but
Well, I mean, it kind of depends. I thought we were just kind of in for a chat, and we haven't done it a while.
Yeah.
sure. No, I understand that.
Do we have any comments? Is anybody watching?
Just the one that Reaction Riot thought it was so cool, so maybe they're going to be a regular. I hope.
Oh, and a couple more places. One here in town and one not here in town. Did anyone ever eat at... Oh, and I had the name just a second ago, and I forgot it now. Just past the courthouse on Boonville. No, is it on
Hamby's.
Boonville? Hamby's.
Hamby's.
That's it.
Yes.
Hamby's.
They
Yeah.
were pretty good. And then if you ever got up to Buffalo, I think I've mentioned it once or twice before, the Buffalo burgers used to be really good.
I used to work at Hamby's competitor over off of College Street.
Okay.
B.
And
Coley.
that was Coley's.
Oh, okay, cool. And see, I never really, I guess, realized that them and Hamby's were competitors.
Yeah, pretty much. And they were competitors for the noon rush
Okay.
from downtown. Because those were we didn't have all those restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
Bailey's may have been there, but again, I didn't eat at that until recently. But yeah, I was one of the short order cooks at Coley's.
When I ate at Hamby's, I had like a judge and 2 lawyers at the table with me.
Oh yeah, that was pretty much their bread and butter. The courthouse and all those kind of supporting businesses all around there in the sheriff's office at lunchtime.
And then it when Hamby's and Coley's both were gone, it kind of switched because they moved. Oh, help me out here! The Quonset hut on
Casper's.
Casper's. Casper's moved. Casper's used to be by Aunt Martha's but it was on Glenstone where Aunt Martha sat back.
That back. Okay, I
And
got
they
you.
moved it over on West Walnut, and that became the hot spot for lunch. So
Gotcha.
I gotta say, my first experience with Casper's was fun just because it was with Bob Heil. That was that time. I
I
told
don't think I've ever ate there.
it's good, but I mentioned that I'd become friends on Facebook with Ringo Starr, and I said it seemed like he'd be kind of cool to know. He goes, "No, you wouldn't like him."
he will sign
Like-
autographs.
I'm assuming, is this the Ringo Starr?
The Ringo Starr of the Beatles, yeah. He said, yeah, the only thing Ringo cares about is Ringo. I was like, well, that's a disappointment.
Well, you know what they say most of the time. Don't meet your idols because they usually will disappoint you.
Well, I never knew that Bob Heil would be my idol, but he is pretty much.
Oh no, exactly, and he would be one of those rare exceptions to that statement that I just made. My mom's even met him and talks about how just a very plain, average, common acting guy that he is. And see, I didn't realize this for a little while. Mom worked at the Dollar General store there at H Highway and Valley Watermill Road. And she'd met him and his wife 2 or 3 different times whenever they came in there to the Dollar General store to shop. So even before she had went with me to go meet him to pick up or drop off something here in town, or to go up to his house to pick up something, she'd already met him before I even knew it.
I do need to change the subject slightly. I don't know if you guys caught
Yes.
the latest Damnation.
I did not.
They reviewed 4 clubs.
I did see that, but I hadn't got a chance to actually watch it and see which clubs they were.
I'm going to say it's a bit humbling to watch what some of these clubs are up to, man. They're doing some pretty cool stuff. And,
Gotcha.
I mean, it's not like we aren't, but it's like, wow, yeah. There are really some cool things going on in amateur radio right now, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, even if you're doing something really interesting and really cool, I still think it's interesting and cool to see what other groups are doing, because maybe they may be doing the same thing that we are, but they're doing it in a different, unique way, or maybe they're doing something that's just like, gosh, I wish we had thought about that. That is such an awesome ideal. That might spur you on to try to do it either the same way or try to do it in a different way, or that might even make you think of, well, if they're doing this, what if we try that? And that might lead you in a completely different direction that you might not have thought about without seeing what they were doing. So I guess it's kind of like that scientific type thing, even though you didn't come up with the ideal doesn't mean you can't expand upon it, or it can't inspire you to go in a completely different direction to do something else.
Yeah. Well, I hope what he's doing is inspiring, because it is me, and I'm going to be
for
honest,
sure.
there's some of these guys doing stuff that we probably aren't that group to do, and that would be the recognition of the first responders and such. There's quite a bit of that going on right now, but when it comes to our turn, we need to talk about this
Oh yeah.
a lot because we're really taking this into a new realm where I don't think anybody else is really doing it.
Mm.
Well, and when Gene gets on there and he checks in his wife, to acknowledge her role as a nurse, she's out there every day, front line, one of our own.
Oh yeah.
Kim definitely deserves some special recognition. And yeah, I guess I always worry when certain ones don't check in that are pretty regular in there, like Paula, who's
Yeah.
a bit isolated and her health isn't great, and so
That's why I haven't really changed much on the wellness net because of Paula.
Yeah.
And I know it's just one person, but still. I'm sure there's others that
I-
don't voice that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to the net that are, maybe they've not got the radio set up, or, they just don't feel like talking, but just that listening to someone every day or, every other day, that still makes them feel like they're part of the community. They're not maybe quite so isolated and everything. So, I think that's a great thing. I know even just listening to the radio during the ice storm, because, not that we were bad off or anything, but, I was a bit worried about my grandma. Dad was without power for almost a week longer than we were over at my grandma's house. Because he had a damaged weatherhead. Just listening to, and even though I'm going to slightly reveal myself as one of those left-leaning Democrats there, but I a lot of times do not like a lot of the politics that I hear from some of the shows on KSGF, which is KTTS's kind of news talk station. But, I really had to hand it to them. They were constantly nonstop during that entire ice storm. Had people on talking to everyone, taking phone calls, list of, stores, convenience stores that had food and supplies and stuff, places that still had propane that was available and everything. And they did an awesome job keeping the community together. And even if you weren't calling in, just listening on a battery operated shortwave radio like I was doing, that really helped get through a lot of the evenings, just listening. So, if we can help that with, even just a couple people, I feel like it's a great reason to keep it going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can I
the
just a second?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Patty, are you watching Radar?
I am.
Which
Radar?
location?
Sorry, this is a weather podcast. Just so
No.
trying
True.
to okay.
Wait,
so-
what?
And that and so many other things.
Is this what you're thinking of, Rodney?
Hey, there's Radar. Yeah. What I'm actually referring to is just to the west of Osage City.
Yeah. Yeah. That's this. Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, but look on your not reflectivity, but velocities.
Oh,
That's interesting.
that is. Yeah, it is.
This has been your Weather Minute, Carry on.
Yeah. Weather on the 8s.
That particular storm is headed for Reading, Lebo, Olivet, and Waverly.
Reading or Reading?
Reading, Reading. No, it's Reading. Reading by 10:17, Lebo by 10:27, Olivet by 10:30, and Waverly by 10:50. This storm has held itself together for quite some time and continues to just plow along. It's got a well-defined hook, substantial hail core, hail almost to the size of, well, I would say that's ping pong balls. So, yeah, it's, there was all of that. I knew I saw it in there. That's almost disturbing where it flashes that tornado warning across the screen. It's like, I'm trying to read the radar here.
Oh, you can turn that off if you need to.
Where it says tornado warning across it, like,
I'm pretty sure you can go in there and just make it the polygon if you don't have the overlay.
I'll figure that out another night.
Alright, so look at that notch just to the west of Reading.
Mhm.
Obviously where that vortex signature is showing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess in a sense there's two multi-vortex. Oh, wait a minute. Go back. Did you see that, Patty?
I just turned off the national radar. Do I need to turn that back on?
Oh, is that all it was? Okay,
Yeah.
you had an overlay then. Okay.
Yeah, and it hasn't totally cleared it yet. There, new sweep.
Well, that's pretty gnarly looking.
Yeah, it is.
1 inch hail, 70 mile per hour. Holy crap.
That would dent your car for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's kind of base velocities on that.
Yep.
Now they're starting to see a little bit of development in Wichita.
I can bet they are. Let's go back to reflectivity and back out a bit. Valley Center, Park City, those are suburbs of Wichita. Let's go to KICT and see what they're seeing.
It looks just like moderate rain, but
There's a fair amount
I
of
can see
lightning there.
all there.
Running in a line between Wichita and Topeka, almost connecting.
Ah. Oh, come on. I didn't have my mouth held right or something. Ah! Can't grab. Okay. We'll do it this way. KICT. And turn national radar back on.
Nothing real defined at this point.
No, but this continues. You know, when we first started watching this, the tail end of this was north of Emporia. And these tail end Charlies have started kicking up, and the development keeps pushing to the south. And down here, you've got even more development there by Enid. I mean, from Wichita to Enid, some light stuff with severe storm to the west of Enid. So out Fairview. I knew I couldn't remember the town. I should know. I should know. I used to bank in Kremlin. Um, I used to get videos in Garber. I lived right there, Hunter.
In a hole.
In a hole. It was like a giant buffalo roll or something. It was a big concave area. The whole town was down in it, and it's kind of interesting to watch storms blow up and go over us and touch down in Tonkawa. And we were saved from the great hailstorm of 1995 that blew through western Oklahoma with grapefruit-sized hail blowing through the sides of homes all the way from the Kansas border down to the Red River Valley. And it was during the wheat harvest. It was pretty gnarly. So yeah, this is slowly congealing itself. Look up here, St. Joe, up toward Davenport. This line is slowly congealing itself. If it's into our area by 1 or 2 o'clock, I'd be surprised.
Gotcha.
It's very, very slow to congeal.
Go ahead and go back to actual radar. Go to. I'm looking at KTLX.
Right?
You can see a pretty defined hook echo. Now, again, it's not tornadic yet, but you can see a lot more, detail. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado warning was to be,
Issued on that.
yeah.
And where were you looking?
Well, I mean, it's just, let's see here. I'm looking at the Fairview cell that we were looking at earlier. Fairview. The one that was down near, I think it's down in Oklahoma, to be honest.
Well, I was just there. I had switched to that radar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there
yeah.
where,
Yeah, this one where it's tagged tornado possible.
yeah, you see yeah. So just where that hail core is, just to the low part
Yeah.
of that.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
That's well defined.
That's that supercell building in northwest Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, that's the one you called out. And that is headed toward Fairview.
It's a little off the edge of the radar mostly, though. That thing ain't moving. Compared to the other cells around it, it's sitting still almost. Maybe it's like spinning a top.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, there we go. Vance Air Force Base has got it real close. And that's KVNX.
Excuse me.
That
This
is not level
frontal,
2.
this frontal boundary is turning in that area.
Yeah, they were talking earlier here about the low that was circulating down in that area,
Yep.
and how that was going to affect our weather. And so that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that low circulation down there. Pardon me. I'm having trouble talking and switching views here.
Yeah.
I've been in front of the computer since about 11:30 this morning.
Sorry, I'm being a little quiet. I'm communicating with a spotter.
Yeah, I've been hearing you type for the past 10 minutes.
Well, part of that was also I was posting to the pages, but right
Look
now
at the size of that hail.
Goodness gracious.
Where are you seeing it?
Where it says tornado possible, 2.75
Oh,
inches.
Dang. That's tennis
that
ball.
is big.
That's almost softball. Jiminy's. Whoa.
All I know, no matter
Yeah,
whether that's
I would not be
tennis
surprised
ball,
if a tornado doesn't spawn from that one, if it's not already.
all
got the
I
right
know is
kinda
no
hook
matter
in it.
whether it's tennis ball or softball size, that's ouch size if it hits you.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
concussion
that's interesting.
size.
It may be in the upper atmosphere because it doesn't show a vortex signature. But it's obviously
Oh.
It had,
rotating.
when we first looked at it, it was well defined in here. Yeah,
Oh,
not so
yeah.
well defined. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That thing goes from 0.5 to 2.5 on the base velocity scan, so it's kind of a beast.
Oh, yeah. It's got it's the mesos 2.4, 3.1.
Oh my goodness.
It
Yeah,
goes up there. It's in there.
Yeah, I have a feeling a tornado is going to be issued for that here in a second.
Alright, pause for the cause and refill. Be back.
And there's a fresh spot.
Cool.
We'll be right back after these messages.
You need to have that in your list of place.
You mean the
on your-
pause for the cause?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be right back after these messages.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
You haven't been playing with your box
Everyone
tonight.
stay tuned. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Da, da.
Brought to you by A&W. Oh.
It would be almost kind of like Ozark Public Television. We'd be on there. This has been brought to you by so and so, and viewers like you.
Today's Jungle Chasers have been brought to you by the Powder Milk Biscuit Company, Bebop Rebop Rhubarb Pie, the National Association of English Writers, the letters K, H, and the number 52, and also by viewers like you. Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you. Now imagine what I could do with a script. Actually, I will have to admit, pretty much everything up to the letters I stole off of a Prairie Home Companion.
I missed that show.
It is still on. Garrison Keillor is no longer the host of it. He hasn't hosted it for quite some time. And then there was a slight allegation of him being misappropriate with a female staff member. So they dropped the name Prairie Home Companion, and I forgot what they call it. It's still on now in the same time slot on KWTO that it used to be on. It's
See,
just
I
it's
used
not
to
called
listen to it on KSMU.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. KSMU. I got the call signs messed up. Yeah, it's still on Missouri State's radio station. It's just I got the call signs mixed up. Well, we're taking a brief break while Steve's getting more coffee. Have you, by any chance, ever seen the movie, Patty?
No, I haven't.
They made in, I think it was early to mid 2000s, they made a movie of a show that is exactly like Prairie Home Companion. And Garrison Keillor and several of the regular people are in the movie. It's also got, I think, it's got Kevin Kline. It's got Lily Tomlin in it. I believe. I keep on wanting to say Glenn Close, but it's not Glenn Close. It's the actress that always gets nominated but never ever gets the Oscar. Why can't I think of her name? She was in Julie and Julia. She was in Silkwood. She's been in a ton of different movies, and her name is on like the tip of my tongue, but I just can't think of it. It's not bad. It's kind of a little bit of a fictionalized version of like a behind the scenes of what a typical weekly broadcast of the show would be.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So here's your correlation coefficient.
The CC.
Oh.
Me trying to say correlation coefficients like saying more better.
You just,
Mo better.
But that's so better.
Mo better.
you just hit fine.
Oh boy. Had to throw that one in there.
Do you find yourself and your cohort saying "oh boy" too often? Well, I got a solution for you. Instead of saying "oh boy" next time that humorous situation or conversation comes up, you can always switch to an "oh my."
Oh my.
So I'm going up in reflectivity here. I'm at the 5.1 scan. Look at that hill core.
Oh gosh.
Sure that's a hail core? Or is that Volkswagens being slung around?
I'm thinking.
Get hit a used car lot and
We got bugged size hailstones.
6.4. Why is this part not warned? For hail.
ooh. Maybe they're sleeping out there in Norman.
Wow, this is Vance.
Oh, but they probably are. I don't think Vance has a weather office, do they? They're
Yeah,
just
they
an Air
do.
Force base.
Every Air Force base has one. They're probably playing pinochle. I'm an Air Force brat, I can say that.
Either that or they're new to Texas Hold'em and they're not quite getting that their cards have to match the cards in the middle. Which is what throws me off.
I love playing pinochle, by the way. I was taught how to play when I was 6.
I've never played it.
Serious stuff. And south of the border, which is like Canasta.
Yeah, okay. I've never played Canasta either.
Probably a good thing I don't like to play because she would never do anything.
What we used to play out at my grandparents, my mom's parents' house, and we haven't played for quite some time. We need to is contract rummy. But you've got to play with at least 3 people. Me and one of my cousins tried to do it once with just 2 people, and it just does not work. The more people you have, the better it is. And it's one of those games that you play with multiple decks. So I think you play with at least 3 or 4 decks. And if you're say like going to have like say like maybe 6 or 8 or more people, probably 5 decks would probably not be bad to have. But it's real fun.
You know, there was a place we were not yesterday, is Ottawa, Kansas.
Ottawa.
We were in.
Yes, we went through Ottawa.
We did not. We went through Oswego.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And Columbus. We even was close to Big Brutus. Not close enough to see him, but we were close.
Close as the crow flies.
Yeah. Yeah, Patty said something about, hey, we just got into Crawford County, and I'm like, wait a minute. We were driving along the county line for 15 miles.
Wait.
But that was the first place we saw the sign.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like Crawford County yet.
Yeah.
I saw the sign.
We would need to have been one county to the north, Bourbon County. Ooh.
Ah.
One of my favorites.
And we need to go there when they open up Fort Scott, because I've been to Fort Scott before, but I've never been to the fort.
Oh, we need to go to the museum in Pittsburgh where they got that other digger.
Oh,
they had
yeah.
it by the road there off of 20th. I don't even remember what they call that now.
That cold front seems to have stalled a bit. Or is that just my perception?
It doesn't seem like it's moving very much, if
And
any.
all these storms up in the Kansas City area have really gone to nothing. A lot of rain. There's a lot of rain, but
They've kind of broken up.
yeah, they really has. We have a tornado warning
think
now in
that's
Iowa.
Like a mesoscale discussion based on what's going on?
Okay. Mine's not updated yet. It's not showing that.
Probably till like what? Is it 1 o'clock in the morning when they typically do?
Yeah, it's typically 1 o'clock when they renew. They've done quite a number of them today. And I brought that up, the most recent when we started. They did a mesoscale precipitation discussion a little while ago, 9:59, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, northern Missouri, eastern Kansas, heavy rainfall, flash flooding likely through the evening hours. I have not seen an update on the severe thunderstorm watch. Oh, they are extending it into Illinois. Let's switch screens here.
Uh-oh.
You see that okay?
It's moving to the north instead of down towards us.
Yeah.
It just issued an aerial flood warning for Christian, Douglas, Webster, and Wright until 7:30 a.m. in our area. So yeah, they're planning to expand this to the north, and that was always what they called for, all the way over to Ohio. Um, just that as that cold front advances, it's going to push it south. But yeah, that's zoom in on that so you can see it.
So guys, you know how I signed up for the tornado thing in Paducah, Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
I was a no-show. I ended
Oh,
up having a customer decided right at the last minute they wanted to do it, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't watch this in the background, and try to do what I'm supposed to do." And by the time I got all done, it was 8:15. I'm like,
Ah,
so I missed this one. And
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing any kind of recordings or anything, at least not that I know of. So hopefully I'll have another opportunity to watch that other one, but I missed it completely. I was
There-
really disappointed.
There you go, Rodney, choosing business and a customer over your personal needs. I just don't see how you do it.
That's kind of like a misnomer right there, considering I kind of need customers for my personal needs.
You can just tell them, there's an AT&T store down the road. You'll probably like their service much better.
yeah. I don't think that's going to work out real good.
I mean,
Yeah,
isn't that
I
what
don't
you
think
used
so.
to tell them at Teltech, Steve? Circuit City will get you your equipment much better.
You know?
So this
Of course,
is an
I'm joking.
observed tornado.
That was probably true, Franklin.
But which store is still around?
Store 52, the most profitable store in Best Buy.
Oh, is it really?
It is, yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
It's not loading. I turn off the national radar, it's still not loading. There we go. Turn enough stuff off and back on.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely see that it said tornado observed. Go back on
Yeah.
there and look
Yeah,
at
that one.
the correlation coefficient. I said it again.
And you said it perfectly again.
I had to practice.
Yeah. How many times do you think I had to practice before I could pronounce my cardiologist's name? Parvathanini.
We've had this conversation, Franklin.
I know.
We have had this conversation.
It took Mom a couple years to stop calling her Dr. P.
So, whatever this is not lofting much up, if
I don't
anything.
know how you could see it.
Right here,
There is
the
something
blue dot.
there.
But if you go on up, what you do with correlation coefficient, you look at persistence and you look to see if it's in the upper frames, and it's not persistent. Now there's something there, but there's nothing persistent in CC.
So I wonder why they say being observed. Somebody looked at it and goes, that's a tornado, but it very well could be something else, basically.
Somebody probably saw it.
Or they're looking at a funnel cloud and they're saying, it's a tornado.
Rain wrapped. It's hard to say. Because whatever that is rain wrapped. Now, there's definitely a hook signature in there. But then again, you're dealing with Iowa, and that may be
Oklahoma.
cornfields. I'm in Iowa.
You're in Iowa?
Uh-huh. I'm in Iowa. That's cornfields.
I see Wyanett and Princeton. That's Illinois.
Is that no?
Yeah. It's right on. Is it right on the border?
Oh, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
was
seeing
built-
one near Cambridge,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
in
that's-
Illinois.
east
Kewanee
of
and
Baton-
Galesburg. That's Illinois. That's cornfields there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're not seeing much on CC.
It's just a big rain event.
You'd be closest. I think Davenport.
Yeah.
And that is the only
Oh, actually, that
tornado
comes-
warning that they've got out right now. So they must have dropped the one we were looking at over in Kansas.
Yeah, I think they did. I didn't recall seeing it whenever I was last over there.
National radar. Yeah, there's no box down there. This is an interesting portion of this storm, though. This is definitely a squall line, and look at the embedded vortices in this. Checking out what might come our way.
And it looks
Bethany,
like
how
La
long-
Plata's going to get it.
Bethany, the home of, where did it go? There it is. The home of Toot Toot. While
Yeah.
we're
You know, they're doing curbside, but man, when they're open, holy cow, what a buffet. Ooh.
Speaking of buffets, I guess the Greene County Health Department is going to let a lot of buffets start opening up, but they're pretty much not going to allow you to serve your own food either. They're going to have a person there that's going to scoop it for you, or they're going to have someone behind like a giant, huge sneeze guard that's going to put the food on the plate. You tell them what you want and how much. They'll pass it down to the end of the table, and then you either go get it there or someone at the end will hand it to you.
That's just not okay.
Are they going
I
to
can't
feed you too?
Possibly. You know, you'll have one wait staff come around and put the bib on. The other one will come around with a spoon and do the airplane. It's coming in the hangar. You'll have another one to do your napkin. But no, seriously, it was either earlier today or yesterday. I was reading this on a notification on the KY3 News app, and they were talking with the person who owns the Golden Corral at up by Kansas and 44. And they were talking about that, you know, they had like 2 or 3 different options, and they kind of went with the kind of cafeteria style option where, you know, you'll tell someone what you want, they'll put it on your plate, and they will scoop it for you. I think it was Pizza Ranch at the mall is choosing one of the other options where they said they would have sneeze guards in front of the whole table. That way, I guess you can't even get to the food. You tell someone behind that what you want. They put it all on your plate. They pass the plate down to the end of the table, and then you'll go and there'll be an area where you can pick it up. Now, I believe the lady from Golden Corral said she wasn't anticipating that they would be doing that for a super long period of time, but of course, she has no idea how long. It's all at the discretion of the Springfield Greene County Health Department.
Just take it one day at a time. That's all I can do. You
Pretty
just shake
much.
your head and keep going.
Pretty
I
much.
haven't grazed at a buffet in forever. I think the last time I ate one was up in North Missouri, up there at Bethany.
Now, if you go
I-
down by Galesburg
Yeah.
and Knoxville, I do see a TVS on my radar.
Galesville and Knoxburg, is that back up north
Yeah.
where we were?
No, it's
Yeah,
further south. If
Galesburg.
you go a little bit,
Galesburg.
yeah, a little bit
see
west of Peoria. And there is some hail right there around Knoxville. We are waiting for a Chinese buffet. We're not going to go right when they first open up, but I think my grandmother was saying like maybe about the end of the month, first part of June. We're probably going to make a run to Great Wall.
Well,
No, wait,
use
that's what it
some
used to be
extra
called.
insulin- Use
Agent
extra
King.
insulin that day because you have
I
not
will.
been eating a lot of MSG,
Yeah.
and that is going to drive your blood sugars insane.
Oh my!
I'll just have to watch how much I eat, and like you said, take a little bit of extra insulin.
All right, so on the YouTube page, Virtual Rail Fan, the live feed from Santa Fe Junction is looking right at the storms to the southwest of Kansas City,
Oh, okay.
and it's a good light show too. Oh my!
I bet.
Yeah. I was on La Plata, which is north central Missouri, and there really wasn't all that much, but it's there's some pretty good light show going on southwest of town.
Gotcha.
So can you bring it on screen?
Probably.
Are we going to get in trouble for streaming another stream?
I don't think so. Probably not this.
Hey, let me stream my my picture of the stream, and we can be streaming a stream of a stream. And with that, I will be back here in just a few moments after these words from our proud sponsors.
Would that be Charmin and
Charmin.
Are you
Charmin and
hearing those
Scott?
sound effects? Am I just playing those for myself?
I'm not hearing them.
Oh no! Really? I've had some good timing too.
I wondered why you weren't doing it.
Okay, hold on. Dadgone it.
Well, I thought I was sharing. You guys seeing any of that?
guys hear that?
I'm probably sharing me.
Did you guys hear that one?
Okay, there it is.
It says I'm sharing, but
You are now.
I gotta get it.
I dropped my radar. We're using too much of our stream.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I don't have the second computer set up, or I'd NDI source it in, but
Here, I can do it. Here, let me do this.
but you get on YouTube and look for a virtual railfan, and on the homepage just click on the one that's labeled Santa Fe Junction. One of the best weather watching things ever is those live streams, especially up in Kansas City because they get their weather first. Yeah, we were definitely using bandwidth there for a little bit.
Yeah, a lot. My my screens were flaking out. So they have issued that severe thunderstorm watch for southeastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois.
On screen, Captain.
And they have just issued a flash flood warning for Shannon and Texas counties in Missouri.
Yeah, there it is.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely want to, when you want to see the what's going on around.
Summersville, Missouri, reporting 5.5 inches of rain.
Goodness gracious. Repeaters in stereo.
And they just keep going, don't they? If you're listening to the live feed, you'd hear it later.
Is that that reminds me of like a special venue, you know? So and so on ice. Repeaters in stereo.
Mm. And this definitely is a word from one of our non-sponsors, and that's Virtual Railfan. We bring the trains to you.
Hey, we need to make some phone calls.
Yeah, we bring the trains to you.
Sadly, the steam engines will not be on the road this year. They have canceled their appearances that they had scheduled tentatively. Did you know it's National Chocolate Chip Day?
Oh,
We celebrated appropriately.
we did. We had our homemade energy bars.
Homemade.
Homemade.
I'll be right over. Just leave them out on the porch. I won't even bother you. We'll be
No,
social distancing all over the place.
That's not going to work. Actually, we probably ought to share that with Rodney because those are stupidly simple to make and they're good.
Are they keto friendly?
Oh, probably not.
Ah, you're killing me.
I don't.
So keto, what do you eliminate? Carbs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
you got
keto
chocolate
friendly.
in it, so I mean, boom.
Oh, you can do them without chocolate, and they're still good.
You don't have to put the chocolate in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta have my chocolate.
So you use carob You use carob instead
You know, I've
of
tried carob. I know they say that's a suitable, substitute, but it tastes so bitter to me. It is not chocolate, I'm telling you. I mean, to me, I might as well just let me go plain versus trying to trick my taste buds. It ain't working.
Well, if you don't have any kind of ability to have really sweet stuff, this has got a whole bunch of honey in it. And I guess it kind of depends on what kind of peanut butter you use. But yeah, they're just easy to make, and they probably would make you could adapt them to fit a diet.
They have different things like that. They call them fat bombs or something like that. Oh, hey, there's a train coming down there to the left. You see that over there?
So there is like this crossing has like 4 different railroads. You've got BNSF across the bottom. You've got Union Pacific across the top. There is that WAMX, like we saw down in Coffeyville, that blue engine, the WAMX, and the Kansas City Terminal, all in this area.
I saw quite a bit of lightning, but I don't know, maybe if is it delayed or...
Oh,
maybe
I'm
it's just-
sure there's some delay to it. But it was booming pretty big there for a minute.
Oh, there's a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Now, back to our show. What happened? You guys like spawned dual TDSs while I was gone or something? No, actually, I take that back. 3. I'm seeing 3 right here now.
Down on that. Oh, I've got an echo.
Yeah, down there near Knoxville's 1, and then kind of southeast is a second one, and then northeast is a third. I can't leave you guys alone for a second.
I know where the echo's coming from.
Is it
Where
me?
is
Franklin's headset.
No, it might possibly be because I'm not wearing my headset right now.
Or lack of.
Yeah. Let me put it back on and see if the echo goes away.
Oh, it will.
Uh-huh.
You weren't hearing anything until you showed up. So it definitely, you are the missing link.
No, I'm not.
All right,
Did
the
that
echo is
take
gone.
care of it? Oh, wow.
Franklin, I got to tell you about something.
What's that?
It's Bay.
Mm-hmm.
It's out there kind of near Jeff.
Oh, okay.
It's out Miller. It's got a Miller address.
The food is great, but the thing about it is they do parachute stuff on Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
The food is okay.
What do you
I'm
mean
not
okay?
gonna rank it. I give it a 7. Which, it's worthy of another trip because of the atmosphere and the service. But small town cafe food, not great, but not bad.
I think what the deal was, if we could have sat outdoors while they were doing parachute jumps,
Mm-hmm.
that would have made dinner like totally awesome.
So it's kind of like a dinner and a show.
dinner and a show, yeah. They do
Without
have a
the
room
Branson
that we
prices.
could rent for a ham radio club meeting. And
No, but they have a great big open patio.
yeah.
That's nice.
Y'all are making me hungry again, doggone it.
Part of my extended stay away was putting pot pies in the oven.
Hey.
I got
Stop
chicken
it.
soup to make tomorrow. It's not going to happen tonight.
So, poor Rodney. I need to go get our evening medicinals. It's getting late, and I'll probably need a snack to get those down with. So,
Are we going to go
Shall we?
on or see what happens?
I don't know. I don't have radar up anymore to give you an opinion. And what's going to happen here is going to be into the wee hours. If we want to do this for hours and hours and hours.
That's
Well,
what
I
I mean.
say that, and then I look and the warnings are getting close to Nevada. Let's pull up KEAX. And see what we see.
We shall see what we shall see.
Activating live scan.
Need to have a sound.
Oh no, it's not as close as I thought. It's still up there by Garnet.
That's Illinois.
No, that's Kansas. Paola, Ottawa.
No, Rodney's feeding Illinois.
Oh, yeah. Well, this isn't getting me done what I was going to do, so I shall return. I will be nice and turn off my mic
Okay.
this time.
See, the thing about it is, it's the photographic opportunities, because you know how parachutes are usually bright colored.
Oh yeah.
It's been we've been out there twice. We ate once, and it was kind of
Mhm.
cool to visit. But I just haven't gone on a Saturday when they generally do the parachute stuff.
Gotcha. See, I can't remember who it was. I think he was a year or two ahead of me. We had a kid at Hillcrest that was into parachuting. So I think it was him and his dad volunteered a couple different times to do some parachute jumps at home football games. Mostly, I think they were like around homecoming. So I saw a couple of those. And then whenever me and my dad and his girlfriend at the time went to Kansas City to watch some Royals games, it was the year after they won the World Series, and it was just, like 4 or 5 months after my grandma passed away, so it was in '08. We went to an evening game, and then the next day we went to a day game, and during the day game, they did a flyover, at least with a transport plane, and they had some, I can't remember if they were Air Force, if they were Army Rangers, or what they were, but they had some people jump out, and they had the parachutes, and they had the smoke trailing behind them and stuff. But that may have possibly been a second, possibly third time that I saw a B-2 bomber, because I cannot remember if, in addition to the transport plane that they jumped out of, if a B-2 went over the stadium that day or not. I know one went over Springfield whenever we marched in the in the Veterans Day Parade. I believe that was my junior year. It was either my junior or senior year, but I think it was my junior year. And then there was one other time for certain that I saw one, but I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it was when we were at Disney World on the Miami trip or if it was when we were doing something in Miami, but it wasn't, I'm almost positive it was not during the Orange Bowl parade, because that's the only one that they do at night, and they do it on New Year's Eve. So it would have been so dark you wouldn't even have seen the plane.
I've seen them
They're
3
big.
times.
They're big, and it's really almost spooky
4
when
times.
they shift over to that silent mode that they have, where you hardly hear anything, and if you do, you'd swear it's miles off in the distance, but you've got this huge giant black wing right over your head.
Mm. Now, the interesting thing about seeing them 4 times is 2 times were not scheduled flights. They just were flying overhead.
Gotcha.
One
Now-
actually made the news because they didn't announce it, and here was 4 of them kind of doing big patterns in the sky. That was pretty cool. And then I was down at Lake Springfield Park, and I seen a jet flying overhead, and I just, a 300 millimeter, I just shot it. And then I got home, and I'm like, holy crap, that was a stealth. It wasn't just a regular jet airplane.
I have no proof of it, but me and Mom, it was during the Second Persian Gulf War, I believe. It was before we had closed down the record business, because we were still had an account with Morse Oil through the towing business, and me and Mom were standing down where their pumps used to be, just not too far from the intersection of Chestnut and National. And we saw something really, really high up. Really couldn't hear anything. It was at night, so you really couldn't see anything. I didn't have a camera or binoculars or anything with me. Probably still wouldn't have been able to see much of anything, because it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But they were flying missions over to Iraq at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that from I almost said White Sands, from Whiteman, their path would probably take them fairly close to Springfield. So we kind of always wondered, I think we saw 2 planes. We always kind of wondered if that was what those were, but like I said, absolutely no way to prove it.
It's going to be pretty big when it hits, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
And now your radar on 11 o'clock.
You're almost
Jungle
on the
Chasers.
hole.
Jungle Chasers proudly brings you in 1 minute your 11 o'clock radar update.
At the beep.
Oh,
No. I was just thinking that. At
We're
the
chasing
tone,
bugs
the
now?
time will be 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time. I would do that if I had the seconds up.
Dude, I could probably find it on 1500 and start playing it through here.
Oh, no. I meant I would do it myself if I had my seconds on my time on my menu bar.
I forgot to turn my mic back on, and I was doing this perfect 10-second countdown.
yeah.
Anyway, mesoscale discussion just came up, and I got to go back to it now. They're considering um, extending the current Watch 182 for northwest Missouri and northeastern Kansas to the east.
Yeah.
1005 millibar low across southeast Kansas with surface trough extending northeastward from the low into northeast Kansas and north central Missouri. Large MCS located along the surface trough with general organized line segments ongoing. Air mass ahead of the surface trough is moist with surface dew points in the 60s. This is contributing to moderate instability with ML Cape estimated in the 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram range. In addition, the Topeka WSR 88D VWIP shows moderate deep layer shear with speed shear in the mid-levels and directional shear in the boundary layer. The WSR 88D VWIP at Kansas City has less deep layer shear, but also has strong directional shear in the boundary layer. This wind profile will be favorable for continued multi-cell line segment formation. The more intense line segments should be able to produce damaging wind gusts and hail. And they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Shannon County, Missouri.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Locations impacted include Eminence, Alley Spring, and West Eminence. If you are camping on the current river and you're listening to, if you have any cell service to listen to us on Broadcastify or YouTube or however you're hearing us, you might consider seeking shelter.
See, what we need to do is me or Patty one needs to win that, multi-million-dollar jackpot for the lottery. And then buy that little spot of land over there on Cherry Street right before you go over 65, where they got the big, huge tower and they're rebuilding a new building. We need to buy that and turn that into the Jungle Chasers Broadcasting Network.
I want
Baby
to
steps,
win.
baby steps.
I know.
I want to win a multi-million-dollar lottery and buy 40 acres. Take over 10 of it for us. And turn the other 30 into a subdivision for hams only, with about an acre and a half dedicated to a club station and clubhouse, and a place for field day. But that's me.
No, I would have similar ideals as well.
And there you could build your broadcast tower.
Yeah. Coming to you in quadraphonic stereo, stereo. See? Just like someone else in broadcasting, if we can't do it through the mixer, I'll just do it live. I'll do it live, I tell you.
Oh heavens, I turned on there's another tornado. Radar indicated off just right there at Emporia.
We may need to take a nap for a short time until that gets here.
Yeah.
You got one county away. No, is it? 2 counties away.
2.
Okay, yeah, the warning just popped up on my radar. Excuse me.
I did a boo-boo and turned on all the storm tracks. I've got these little dots all over my screen with their little track, and I can't remember how to turn them off.
The storm tracks, you mean?
Yes.
It's up there where it says storm tracks.
Yeah, I know.
No, it can't be that simple, Rodney.
It's
No
simple,
way.
and I'm
No
going
way.
blind.
But Franklin, have you tried pressing that button in the corner that turns the Wi-Fi on and off?
Oh, that reminds me, Franklin.
Yeah.
Remember all the problems you had with your Wi-Fi on 1804? Apparently, you're not alone in that.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's a bug in Ubuntu.
In Ubuntu?
You mean what he was having issues with the laptop?
Yeah, when it couldn't find the Wi-Fi, or it couldn't reactivate it after suspending it.
Yeah,
It's a bug.
I'm thinking what the deal is, for whatever reason that touch button comes unresponsive. And I guess apparently all I needed to do was do a power cycle, because as soon as I removed the battery, pressed and held the button down for about 2 minutes, put the battery back in, pressed started it up, pressed the button, it worked. Which is what the article that I had read had said. Sometimes those buttons can become unresponsive, and doing a power cycle should make them work again. And I don't know whether it's a hardware issue, or maybe it's a combination of a hardware issue running that version of Ubuntu. Because I mean, obviously, it sounds like it's an issue in the software. So maybe it's just something that happens whenever you run Ubuntu on that hardware. But it started working. I can't tell you how many times I was pressing that button, and I'm just like, it's blue. It should be on. I keep pressing it. It doesn't change to orange, solid orange, which means it's turned off. It's blue, so it should be on, but for whatever reason, in the OS, it wasn't turned off.
So
Rodney, if it'll show.
You disappeared.
Now it's showing, but it's disappearing again.
where'd she
The
go?
closer you get to the webcam, it disappears.
That's funny. My background, it's got to be right in front of my face.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Oh man, I want to just lick the screen. So
Is that some kind of bread?
No,
no,
this
it's
is
a
an
protein
energy bar,
power.
homemade.
Oh, okay. Oh, homemade. Well, I might eat that then.
I am coming over.
Yeah. We've got all the stuff to make more, so I mean, I can whip up a batch pretty quick.
It's a school thing with me. In 8th grade, if any of you have heard me talk about the historically dreaded Montauk trip,
Yeah.
it was a camping trip that was far from what it was promised. So we basically turn over $500 for this guy to buy us food for the weekend, and he buys us a whole bunch of energy bars from Sam's.
Yeah.
So, energy bars have not been high on my food list for, well, ever since then.
Those
But-
things
But you
taste
can't
like
compare
sawdust.
this.
The stuff I make is good.
You
Well, that's
can't
what I was gonna
compare
say.
this to the sawdust things you buy in the box.
Oh no, that's what I was going to say. Homemade is probably going to be infinitesimally better.
These have to be
The
refrigerated.
word of the day is infinitesimally.
Yeah.
Can you say infinitesimally? I think you might be able to. But anyway, yeah, anything homemade's going to be better than usually what you can buy in the store. And I mean, these were like these lumpy, cakey, disgusting tasting things. But see, I had a secret weapon. Mom and Dad went on the trip with us and brought along Grandma and Grandpa's camper. So I spent one night in a tent. I did spend the next night in the tent. So yes, I was spoiled. But I was like, yeah, this is nothing like we were promised.
So, what did we decide? Are we going to stay with this thing, or are we going to say we'll catch it later?
We're gonna catch it later, that's for sure.
Doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me.
I can keep telling stories. I can come up with new stories, and if I start getting tired and I get really loopy, whew,
Yeah, that's
We-
what
we
we're
might-
trying to avoid here.
we might have
In
some
the stream now.
Robin. We might have some Robin Williams-esque stuff come out if I get
I mean,
super
we're coming right up on within a minute 3 hours. So, and
Oh, that's too long.
the
Yeah, that's
thing
no
is,
perfect
I
one.
know we're gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to play the Skywarn game in the middle of the night with this thing. So
Yeah.
we might as well call it a night. Say our 73s, and if we are able, we can pick it up later.
Yeah.
Well, I'll kick it off. 73 and 88 from Katie 0 AEL.
Go ahead, Franklin.
Yeah, okay. 73s from KD0RSJ, high atop the tower at my location. I'm on the second floor. I don't know if it's really a tower or not, but see y'all later.
Go ahead, Rodney.
And I am on my first floor. Only. I can't compete. What am I talking about? Okay, 73, everybody, from K0FZ. Back to you, Steve.
All right, and this is K0SPM 73 to everyone, and from Studio G.
And Jungle Chasers bidding you adieu.
Have a great night, everybody.